Welcome to the Inner Podcast, where you get to embrace your inner nerd. I'm your host, Aaron.
And how butted?
How about it?
I don't know what that was. I usually do the goofy end of the intro.
Yeah.
So sometimes I dive a little too far.
Sometimes I lose myself in
Next
the
time I'll
moment.
just scream into the mic. I'm your host, Aaron.
We need to hire a hunter from Papa Meat because he's got the perfect.
Oh yeah.
So, how are you doing today, Brennan?
I'm not too bad. Today wasn't a terrible day. I honestly had a lot of time on my hands today at work, and I spent a lot of it just thinking. That's never a good thing.
What about?
Life
Uh-oh.
and the struggles of it. And then I was also talking to a coworker, and he was talking about shit that like how he feels stuck and everything, and I just started overthinking, and yeah, here we are.
Just one of those days.
Just one of those days.
I feel you.
Just one of those days. Oh.
Yeah? You got a song playing in your head or something?
Yeah, my brain is weird.
That's like, I was telling a coworker of mine, my brain thinks in theme songs. So whenever there's a silence or, I try to fill the noise, it always resorts to the Halo theme song or
Yeah,
something.
cartoon
Okay.
songs will come into my head. There's I call my son Henry Chunky Monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I'm messing with him and I call him Chunky Monkey, I'm like, my gym partner is a monkey, my gym
Oh my
partner.
gosh. What a blast from the past.
Yeah.
You know what cartoon song always pops up in my head and lives there rent free? Is the My Life as a Teenage Robot theme song.
Oh my god.
As a teenage robot. Welcome to my life.
That and Ben 10 go hard.
Oh my gosh, the original Ben 10 theme song was awesome.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce. So our episode 0 that we had talked about a couple times in the first couple episodes, we're on episode 6 now.
Yeah.
We had mentioned episode 0 as something we had recorded at the end of 2024. Finally, that went out today. Strangely enough, I was listening to it, and
So was I.
It's different when, I don't know why, but so when I'm editing it, I usually don't. When I'm editing these episodes, I usually don't wear headphones because they're relatively easy to cut down and just put a couple transitions or the theme song at the beginning, at the end, and make sure that there's no weird breaks or pauses or whatever. But we recorded that episode very differently than we do these ones.
Yeah.
And something that I didn't notice until listening to it today, because when I'm at work, I have an earbud in and I just do my thing. But there's all of this background noise. It's not but that's the thing. It's not as overbearing as it usually is. It's almost just like white noise.
Oh, that's me.
Well, it sounded like traffic, so I thought it was me.
No, if there's a consistent white noise.
No, it sounded like traffic.
Oh, because
it sounded like we were. See, what I was going to get to is there was kind of a vibe. It was almost like we were recording it in like downtown, just like sitting on a sidewalk and just like letting life go by.
That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know what it was, but something about it, I was like, why do I kind of like this?
I kind of want to try that. Maybe for an episode, we should just go downtown, like sit somewhere. And
maybe
just record an
because something
episode.
about like the white noise and just it didn't seem so jarring.
Mhm.
It seemed like very organic and relaxing almost.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, I don't need music playing in the background. I don't need sound effects or whatever. I just have us talking and then whatever's going on in the background. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, something that the episode made me think about that I've kind of wanted to just ramble about that frustrates me is since I've started, not even just this job that I'm working at now, but the job I was at prior, I've become very accustomed to listening to different podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of podcasts that I listen to regularly. And some of them, obviously, they've got it down. They've got a following. They've been doing it for a long time. I'm not saying that we're professionals or that we're like role models in the podcasting world because obviously we just started. We're only 6 episodes in. Or 7 if you count 0. Right. But there's just some things. Like, I'm not going to out these people. But for instance, there's one podcast that's hosted by 2 YouTubers that come from different YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And one of them, I respect him. I love his content and whatnot. But I don't know if it's just because he's used to his videos being edited in a specific way. But whenever he's on a podcast, and I'll even find him on other podcasts. Whenever he's on a podcast, it's almost like he doesn't realize how close the microphone is to his face. Because...
Curious on who you're talking about.
Well, again, I'm not going to say... Well, I'll say it, but I'm going to bleep it out. So, editing me, make sure to bleep this out. So, whether it's that or any other podcast he's on, you always just hear... like whenever he's about to start speaking or whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I guess some people can't help it, but I'm always thinking about where the microphone is. That's why I have to hold the microphone when we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He's not the only one who does it. There's tons of people. But, I don't know. It just bothers me. And the thing is there's got to be something to do. There's got to be something that can be changed to fix it because there's countless other podcasters and YouTubers and whatever that use the same microphone because every podcast uses the exact same freaking microphone.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, I don't know. He's just got to fix that, or he doesn't. I'm assuming he doesn't realize it's happening because I don't know. It's very jarring, and I have to like turn down the volume if I'm ever listening to his podcast, in like my headset or earbuds.
Right.
And again, we're not perfect. I mean, we're using 2 lavalier mics that we're using handheld, and
yeah,
it's not like we have a studio or anything like that. We're just doing this at our home. But yeah, that's just my little ramble. Also, there's a YouTuber that you follow, who I'll also bleep. Actually, you know what? Let me say what it is first, and then I'll tell you who it is.
How about I guess who it is?
Okay. So if there's anyone who follows this person, I'm probably, and maybe you've seen them on a specific podcast or whatever it may be, I might be just outing them right now. Or maybe I'll bleep this part. Who knows? But sure, maybe not everyone is informed about everything. That's a pretty blatant and obvious statement. But when it comes to like celebrities' names, when it comes to movie titles, when it comes to, I don't know, sometimes there's just something like what I'm getting at is like enunciation or pronunciation.
Okay.
So whether it's a celebrity's name, you just need to say right, you know,
Yeah.
or it's a movie title that maybe you don't get, but you're like saying it wrong. You know, kind of like I don't know if you remember, there was a big conversation about like, is it Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter? That anime,
yeah.
you know? So I understand that. Like sometimes people go back and forth on that. I mean, there's still people going back and forth on whether it's GIF or GIF or if it's Ghibli or Ghibli, you know? And unless we're given a finite answer, I think there is a right answer, but there's just people who don't want to admit it. Like I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm not too sure. Just based on people who've like thrown out actual facts and stuff. When it comes to Ghibli or Ghibli, I'm pretty sure it's Ghibli.
I've never heard Ghibli before.
Well, some people have said Ghibli, but I'm just saying I think it's Ghibli because someone posted a video and that's how the guy said his name, or he said the name of the studio. Or if it's GIF or GIF,
Well,
so it should be. I don't really like GIF or GIF. They both sound weird. But I'm pretty sure it's GIF, right? Because it's graphic
yeah.
something.
So not only is it graphics interchange format, but the creator of GIFs
Yeah.
pronounces it GIFs. And that's the only thing I need to hear.
Y-
Even if like
right.
even if there is like a debate like, oh, the word is graphic, but it's pronounced GIF, as soon as the creator says GIF,
Mhm.
end of story.
Right.
It's some that I find more fun are the ones that you don't get that kind of luxury for. Like it's a little more nerdy, but it's like Ra's al Ghul. There's multiple ways people have said it.
Mm-hmm.
There's Ra's al Ghul. There's Ra's al Ghul. There's Raz al Ghul from the Christopher Nolan movie. That old lady from the party, she's like, am I pronouncing this right? It's Raz al Ghul. Or like how it is spelled weird. Some people say dark seed instead of dark side.
It's Dark Side.
It's dark side. But all hail dark side, by the way. But yeah. Those
Well,
sorry, get to what you were saying. I just
well,
want to
okay. Well, I kind of want to add to that. My answer to the Raz or Raish or Raz or whatever, it's Raish al Ghul. And the only reason I say that is because I think the first time we ever heard his name being said out loud was Kevin Conroy.
That's true.
And I think I even heard an interview where he was confused himself, and the producers told him it was Raish al Ghul, and he said Raish al Ghul.
I have heard though, from like certain videos and stuff, and like people who kind of like dive deep into comic books and what have you.
Yeah.
When it comes to how to pronounce Raish al Ghul,
Mm-hmm.
first off, Raish al Ghul is like the more proper way to say it. Like, that's just how a lot of people say it. That's how media primarily says it.
Mm-hmm.
Ra's al Ghul, I think, sounds more cultured.
I'd say it's the other way around. I'd say Roz is like the American.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
they look at how it's spelled and they're like, oh, Roz or
But-
Raz.
Based on some information that I've gathered in the past, apparently Raish or Roz are both correct as far as like how it's spelled and like the culture that it originates from. Because in Middle Eastern cultures, depending on like what version of the language you're speaking, they actually say both Raish and Roz. So it doesn't really matter,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there is still like a proper way to say the character's name. But I find those conversations interesting, especially when people come up with really stupid fucking answers.
Right. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but the point that I was going to get to
Sorry.
is no, you're good. So a little fun tidbit. Curious question, Brandon.
Answer.
What's the name of Robert Eggers' first feature film debut?
First feature film?
Yep.
Isn't that The Witch?
Yep. So,
Okay.
you notice about the cover, it's spelt a little weird.
Yeah.
It's VVITCH.
Are you about to tell me that it's pronounced Vitch?
No.
Oh. Did you
In
say that the wrong way and someone's going to get offended?
well, hold on.
Oh, shit.
So, the reason why the cover looks like that is because back in, those days, the letter W technically didn't exist. Or I guess it wasn't. Not that. I'm trying to think of this in like educated terms, but essentially it wasn't like in common use.
Okay.
And the very common way to, and so a lot of people, they'll ask like, oh, why is it called a W, but it looks like a double V, or whatever. But
Oh, yeah.
so it's because back in the day, there wasn't technically a letter to use for it. So they would put two V's by each other.
Oh.
And cursive wise, it would commonly look like two U's.
Oh.
But it's still pronounced witch or like a W.
Okay.
I was listening to a podcast that featured, and again, I'm going to bleep this, and she called it Vavitch.
Really?
They were like, I forgot how it came up, but I was so distracted and I stopped paying attention because like I was so dumbfounded when I heard it. But she said like what her favorite movie was, and she said Vavitch. And I was like, what?
Well, see, at first, my thought process on that would be like, well, she is, like, when it comes to her content, it is very, like, comedic, and sometimes she, like, purposely does things just to
She
goof
was
off,
like
but
dead serious.
if she's dead fucking serious saying Vavitch, dude,
yeah.
cringe.
No, and someone even asked, they were like, which movie? And she was like, Vavitch. And it's like, oh God, no, she's serious.
She said it twice.
She said it twice. And it's not a big deal. I know that.
Yeah, but that's as simple as, like, someone being like, it's witch, right?
Yeah, I know. And it's kind of like one of those things where, I mean, again, this is also coming from me being like someone who actually enjoyed English class.
Yeah.
But it's something as simple as, oh, did you draw a picture or something? Or did you draw a picture? Or something like spelling you're the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or they're the wrong way. And doing it confidently. Or saying a fact or what you think is a fact, but it's actually completely wrong, and going around and spreading that news as fact. Like, someone, please stop this person so that they're not spreading this fake thing anymore.
I don't know why, but there's this image. I think it's like a video I saw. I don't know if it was like a clip from a show or a movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
But someone wrote like a small phrase on a surface to be like insulting towards a person.
Okay.
I want to say it was like towards a girl. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I dreamt this or if I actually witnessed this, but like a very distinct image is coming to mind.
Okay.
They like write like an insulting phrase that included the word "your." Oh, like you're a or like you're a bitch or something like that.
Okay.
And the girl who was supposed to be insulted goes up to the thing and corrects the "your" because it was spelled Y-O.
I think I've seen that before.
And she corrects it by putting the little mark and then the R-E. And then she kind of just like doesn't get fazed by it and then walks away.
Mm-hmm.
What is that from?
It's just like it was like a video on like TikTok or Reels. I've seen that before. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you start bringing that up and I'm like, oh man, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Again, I know what I'm referring to isn't as dire as like fake news or something,
right?
But my brain processes, oh my gosh, thinks about it the same way because it's like you're confidently standing there and being like, oh, the movie's The Witch. It's like, no, the movie's called Witch.
Yeah.
Or The Witch.
Yeah. Also, I just want to throw this out there real quick. I'm not sick, but for some reason, my face and my voice are acting like it is. Like, I woke up this morning super congested, and my voice feels like as if I've been screaming for hours. Don't know how that happened, but so if I sniffle a lot or if I sound weird, I apologize, but I'm not sick. I think I would know, but...
You have like a heater on in your room, but no ventilation. It could just be really dry in your room when you're sleeping.
That might be it. I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. I just apology for all the sniffling and stuff. Like that.
Anyways, but yeah, I don't know why, but I've just been thinking. I don't know why that bothered me, but it does. And I've been thinking about a lot of that stuff. Essentially, it's kind of like I'm glad I'm listening to a lot of podcasts as we're kind of putting this podcast together and we hopefully grow in the near future.
Right.
Because I kind of want to just know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm catching these things. Oh my Lord. Maybe speaking properly would help. I'm glad that I'm catching these things because
this is one of the things we're talking about. As
far
as noise goes.
There's just things that I would like to keep, note of so that we're not being obnoxious or we can provide, a pleasant listening experience to anyone who does decide to listen to our little podcast.
That kind of reminds me of. Actually, I kind of brought this up before we started recording, but so I recorded 2 videos yesterday, as of this recording, and the second video came out like as far as like the quality of the camera came out as expected, but the first video didn't look as good as I wanted it to.
Okay.
Because so I know we have beginning YouTube channels and a lot of people always say things like you don't need to have like expensive equipment,
right,
or anything like that, but I try my best to provide like as high quality as possible for my stuff because let's be honest, if you're a small channel and you're, let's say, like for all the people who are subscribed to me, for example, the 77 people who are subscribed to me, out of all those people, I'm sure a decent amount of them are rather close friends or family or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the but for people who don't know who I am and they see my channel for the first time,
Yeah.
as soon as they see something that's low quality, they dip because they want someone who's rather popular or been doing it for a while or what have you.
Right.
So the sad truth is that if your videos don't look like they're high quality, despite what other YouTubers say, no one's gonna watch your video. So I
Yeah.
do my best to make it look as nice as possible. And so for that video that I recorded, I tried doing something else with like filming, and it's a video. It's not the kind of video I usually film, but I probably should have done more tests beforehand. I was a little bit too confident in what I was making,
Yeah.
and it just like I'm currently editing it now actually, and it's just not as nice as I wanted it to be. And I don't want to not post the video, but it's things like that make me hesitant on publishing sometimes. So
Well, I think this is an interesting segue into what I kind of wanted to talk about today.
okay,
And I know this is a little different than our other episodes so far. And it's probably going to be a very rare thing. Actually, if anything, I would like this to maybe be something that we come back to maybe like once a year or every couple years or whatever. But I kind of wanted to talk about our journey content creating so far, because I think it's safe to say at the root of what our interests are and what we like to do, content creating is just not, it's just not some like a skill that we necessarily have. Like when I was in high school and I was part of our digital media academy, I was very much a behind the camera kind of person,
okay,
and and I've always been a much more creative outlet kind of person in terms of like writing, directing, so on and so forth. But doing all of it and putting myself in front of the camera is just different.
yeah,
Because I have to not only do things that I'm comfortable doing, but make it so, like what you're saying, is of a decent enough quality to bring people in and grow an audience and so on and so forth.
right,
And I think that's just something that neither of us really wanted to admit right out the gate, that that's something that we're particularly good at.
okay.
At least for me. And so with that being said, what's the journey been like so far since, for me, July 29th of 2023?
So like our YouTube or I almost said career, our YouTube journey specifically.
Well, yeah, because that's kind of, I mean, we have, the only other public content creating either of us have done before that is we just each had art accounts
True.
that we've had since high school. Or
Yeah. So
graduating high school. For me, at least.
I was trying to look it up. Trying to see the exact date of my first video. I should probably know this because I did it for a year and a half wrap up video, so I should know this, but I'm dumb.
While you're doing that, so a little bit of background, like I was just talking about, is Brandon has been drawing since he could pick up a pencil.
Yeah.
And Mom was even just giving you crap the other day about, like, anything that had a clean surface on it, you put pencil or marker.
It's not my fault that people made white objects.
And I doodled and stuff from time to time, but it wasn't until we graduated high school
Yeah.
that, I had all of this free time, and I was like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just Chris had come over to the house at some point, and you guys were kind of like doodling and having almost like a little art session.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of just joined in, and it began. I went on this crazy journey myself of trying to catch up to you guys, and
Yeah,
I kind of did the same thing in creating like an Instagram account for my art,
right.
and doing kind of what I want. I'm hoping the jump in quality happens with the channels too for both of us, because if you look at my art account, I was posting when I started.
Right.
Sure, there was a couple months before when I was like really learning like the basis of it all, but that first post that I did, which was, I don't know, it's literally, from what I remember, it's a post of just my little art station, and it was crap.
Yeah.
It did not look good. But comparing it to things that I've drawn recently, I mean, I'm pretty proud of where I've come since 2018 till now.
Yeah.
I'm no professional, but I think I've learned things that it's taken a lot of other people a long time to understand and them get a grasp of.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as I've kind of gone about before, and I did in my own wrap-up video at the end of my first year, was I ended up leaving Home Depot after 4 years, and I had so much time on my hands. I had all this money that I'd cashed out and still looking for another job, and I was just binge watching YouTube and, so many different people, but it wasn't until I really started binge watching Scott Kramer's videos, and he just seemed so passionate about it and not doing the same thing that other people were doing, that I was like, I've always wanted to direct movies, and I want to write movies and tell stories and stuff. Like, what better practice and way to have some kind of creative outlet than do YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the biggest problem I had is that I had it kind of what I thought was a niche idea of doing YouTube, but I'll get to it a little later. But spoiler alert, the way I started YouTube is not what I think now is what I want to do going forward with YouTube.
Oh.
So I know that last part's a little vague, but again, I kind of want to open the floor to you a little bit, but that's just where I'm at so far.
So, well, first off, when it comes to the whole drawing thing, for years, again, like you said, like I spent my whole life being like the twin who could draw out of the two of us.
Right.
And I spent years practicing and getting to where I am today. And don't get me wrong, there's still things that I could easily work on. But I grew very confident in my art, and like I always would look at how long it took me to get to where I am.
Yeah.
And I got so fucking butthurt when you started drawing. Not only did you like progress really quickly, like within the span of like just a few months, but you got a fucking art show.
Yeah.
Which caught me off guard, which like I understand why, because your art is very specific and it's unique and at times abstract, while mine is very, it's a very specific genre, it's a very specific style, and sure, like my art doesn't, especially compared to other comic book artists, it doesn't really stand out that much. I do think that now I think I've like come across my art style. Like it's very, I personally think it's very distinct.
Yeah, I would agree.
And like, so if I was well known, that you might actually be able to like pick mine out in a crowd, which is kind of nice. But yeah, at the time I was kind of butthurt at the fact that like you spent 5 months drawing and you get an art show. I spend years drawing, and
It wasn't 5 months; it was a year.
it's not that different compared to the amount of time I spent drawing beforehand. Because how old were we when you got your art show? Whatever you say, that's the amount of years I spent drawing.
I mean, it was, if I remember correctly, it was February of 2019.
So we were 19. No. Yeah.
We were,
yeah, we were.
yeah,
19.
we were 19.
Yeah. So 19 years of drawing and practicing and
Mm-hmm.
all that. Nothing. But it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not. It's more funny now than anything. But when it came to YouTube, I remember years ago, like fucking forever ago,
Yeah.
I want to say like we were still in high school, and I just had this random idea, like what if, because I watched YouTube. I was actually introduced to like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye through our friend Chris.
I mean, and we've also been watching PewDiePie since we were
Right, but
freaking-
like I took a break from watching YouTubers because like there was a part of me that just didn't really care anymore.
Yeah.
But then when I started getting back into it, I made my channel. And a lot of people don't know this,
Mhm.
but I actually made a YouTube video during high school. It was during summer,
Mhm.
and me, Chris, and our friend Tanner were all hanging out at Chris's place. And Tanner had 2 broken arms at the time. I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember, but that's during the era of Tanner when he had 2 casts, and it was hilarious. But I wanted to make a YouTube video of us trying to make his casts waterproof so that he could go swimming.
Okay.
And we filmed a whole thing of just us duct taping plastic around Tanner's arms.
Mhm.
And it was the funniest shit. But then, and my dumbass posted it. And I completely forgot that I did. And then way later, during my time in the military, when I was in tech school and I'm watching Markiplier and everything, I went onto my account and I saw that there was a video there. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta delete that. And I did.
You should have kept it.
I should have. I really should have. But there's a part of me that really wanted to. And I was so scared for the longest time. And I mean,
Was it public? Did it get any views?
I don't remember. But
Brandon.
I deleted it such a long time ago. I mean, that was tech school, so that was like a little over 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, whew, sorry, ran out of breath for a second. But I remember it's like, it was when we were renting that house out, all of us together.
Yeah.
And we were in me and Chris's office room. And I was like, I really want to start a YouTube channel. But I couldn't decide on what I wanted to do. Because I really just wanted to play video games.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I wanted to do art stuff. And I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. But I couldn't. I kept, no matter what ideas I came up with, I always told myself, it's a dumb idea. No one's going to watch your channel.
Right.
It's whatever. Like, people have done that before. Who cares? Actually, the original idea I had for my YouTube channel, no one's done that I know of. So, but it was a lot of work.
I mean, around that time, I think, sorry to cut you off, but I think it's safe to say around that time, all 3, you, me, and Chris, were simultaneously and separately having our own ideas of YouTube channels.
No, we were.
Because I remember having a conversation with someone at work about how I thought they should have done the new Star Wars trilogy. At least what was existing at that point, because the whole trilogy wasn't out.
Right.
But how they could have, quote unquote, fixed Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there like, this is the kind of content that I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do essentially what I started YouTube this time around doing, and what I thought I wanted to do is I wanted to do very like analytical video essays
Right.
about movies and games and narratives and stuff, which I love to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that I need to have the passion for it.
Right.
And I have to want to be able to sit there for more than an hour talking and rambling about something that's scripted and, that, the whole spiel. But the problem is the one thing I don't like doing, and again, the one thing I don't like doing is editing.
Yeah.
I love the creative process and whatever, but
yeah.
I hate editing. So when I'm sitting there listening to myself talking about this super analytical stuff, I end up not liking things later on, and I try to find ways to cut it out, and then I end up shortening the video down, and sometimes things don't make sense, or sometimes my laptop doesn't render things right, and whatever. And I also just don't like sitting in my chair by myself for recording for 2 hours and then to make a 45-minute video that I'm like a little pleased with.
Right.
Anyways, you can get back to.
No, you're fine. But no, so you're right. We were all talking about it. But that was also another thing, is because me and Chris had very similar ideas. Without even talking about it, we had similar ideas of what we wanted to do for a YouTube channel.
Wasn't it like you wanted to do like like Let's Plays, and then at the end of it incorporate like a piece of hand-drawn artwork about the game with like a review segment to it?
That's what I wanted to do.
I remember Chris really wanted to do something like that too.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is they were so similar. I'm honestly mixed up on which idea belonged to who, because
came up, or who said it first.
Right, because they were so similar.
Yeah.
Chris wanted to do more of like an identical thing, like just a picture dedicated to the game.
Yeah.
While I wanted to do something that was more like an interpretation of the game, rather it's like something that I wish was in the game, or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. But again, I was like, well, if Chris is thinking about it, then hundreds of people are thinking about doing that. Like, what are the chances? So like, I'm just not going to do YouTube or whatever. And then it came to the time when me and you were living together in our apartment. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm going to buy a camera. I'm going to buy a better computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to buy a mic. And I'm just going to figure it out. And I did. I bought my camera. I bought the mic. I bought the computer. And I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Not one bit. I think I downloaded DaVinci Resolve. And I was so overwhelmed with like the idea of like, oh shit, I gotta learn how to edit first before I do any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck that. And then I found out how complicated it was just to like record a game. Got too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I just came up with excuse after excuse after excuse to just not record. But then when I wasn't recording, I was like, man, this would be such a great segment of like recording a game. And then I remember I was playing the game Medium,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 12 o'clock at night. My room's dark, like none of the lights are on. And I was pretending like there was a camera on me. And I was just doing commentary while playing the game. Like I was acting like I had thousands of subscribers.
Right.
And that someone was watching me. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna record myself, and then I recorded that first intro video of like, oh, this is me, like introducing myself.
Yeah.
But that was the one that was still at our apartment and no one has seen yet, and it's still on my computer because I was debating on like posting it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that, and there's other things that went through my mind because that was during my time in the military. I was working full time for the military, so
Yeah.
my face was shaved every day. My acne was terrible. My hair wasn't too bad, but like, I mean, I'm still self-conscious about how I look, but I was more self-conscious then,
Right.
which is fair because there's things that, like, the acne was terrible. You know what? I just needed the mustache back then. I would have been fine. But anyways, and it was just really like cringy and stuff. So then I put it off again, and then life, got in the way as it usually does. I met Casey during that time.
Yep.
So this is all her fault. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but so I kind of just got distracted. I completely forgot about it. And then, I got the news about my deployment. So I was like, so when am I going to have fucking time to do any of this?
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend to entertain and hope she doesn't leave me because I'm deploying. And then I had the deployment coming up and I was just nervous.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I might as well finish the deployment if I don't die. So, yeah, then that all happened. But ever since then, like, life has twisted and turned and thrown me to every fucking curb that it could.
Right.
And I just never really had the chance to. And I, fortunately enough, had the opportunity to start. But I mean, for those of you who have seen my first videos, the first greeting video, oh my God, that's hard to watch. It's so fucking hard to watch.
Yeah.
I have like no energy. I'm whispering the whole time because of where I'm recording it at and like how thin the walls were.
Yeah.
And then like figuring out how to like record my gameplay and all that because I didn't have a graphic or not a graphics card. Man, I don't even know what it's called. But like my Elgato, what I use to like transfer
Oh, yeah.
it from my console to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that, so I had to do other means of recording, and it was super glitchy.
It's called a capture card.
Capture card. Duh.
Yeah.
I knew that. But so it was just, and then it was technical difficulties after like one after another, and it just never stopped.
Yeah.
You even witnessed it yesterday. We recorded a video together, and I showed you how fucking complicated it was just for me to start a video.
Yeah.
During a session.
I'm almost curious what the program, I forgot what it's called, but looking into the program that PewDiePie uses, because I remember Cinnamon Toast Ken was giving him shit about it being like an outdated program.
Yeah.
But PewDiePie's like, it still works. It's less complicated as OBS. He's like, it's just better. And I was like, well, maybe if it's easier to use, why not just use that?
I saw ads for a new capture program like OBS.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's free or not, but not only can you record everything, but you can also edit your videos on the same program.
CapCut, I think, is doing that now. Because I use CapCut to edit the podcast. And when I opened it up for this last episode, there was something, I didn't read it because I was kind of just trying to get shit done, but it said something about being able to record yourself while recording on screen. And I was like, does CapCut do this now? Because I wonder how convenient, like if it's versatile and if it's easy to use, how easy would it be, just like you're saying, to record something and it go right into your editing software?
Right. But like, yeah, so I have these weird waves where like I find weeks where I'm able to be productive and then weeks where I'm not able to, and it's also like affordability because we're not at this stage where we can spend all day doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Like we have to go to work, be exhausted from work, come home and like try to put on this face for YouTube.
Right.
Like there's an Indiana Jones video that I recorded not too long ago, and I was recording through midnight.
Yeah.
And I was so tired and I was so angry and like aggravated, and the game was pissing me off.
Yeah.
And it showed. And I was like, and normally, like, it doesn't help that game itself like really irritates me. But like there could have been a perfect day where I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just like play through this whole thing and just like go to bed at like 1, or actually I did. I went to bed at like 1:30, but I was planning on staying up later. But there's just like so much that we have to accommodate to. And like, as we've mentioned, I have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I technically have a stepkid. I have a girlfriend. I have to make sure that like I'm spending like as much time with them as possible.
Right.
And then I have other hobbies that I want to get to, but I feel like I can't. And like it comes back to the affordability. Like right now, our life is, when people say like money isn't everything, we're at the part of our lives where it literally is.
Yeah, like it dictates how we do things.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we make shit money and we're trying to pursue these careers. And I'm not saying that I'm specifically trying to get into YouTube or have this podcast boom specifically for money. Would it be nice to make it like a career?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. But what I don't want to do is work at a job that's just a job, and then dream about being able to pursue these passions as a career. It's like there's so much I want to do, and there's things that I've been working on for 12 plus years that I've thought would have started by now. But because life has been kicking me in the nards, it hasn't. So,
kind of to touch upon a few things that you went over, like looking back at when I started YouTube and what the quality of my videos were like. I mean, that first video that I contemplated taking down for the longest time, my pitch for a Spawn movie.
I actually really liked that video.
It took 3 hours to record, and it, was cut down to 45 minutes,
Something like that.
and it's way too quiet. There's some devices that can, for some reason, some devices it sounds just fine.
Yeah.
And other devices, you have to crank it up all the way, and it's still not loud enough. And I ended up doing a bunch of research, and I found out that there's a lot of there's things on like processing a video on YouTube about like dampening noise, and you have to make sure that there's specific settings on your editing software and so on and so forth. And also what kind of software you're using to record.
Right.
And if it's compatible or not, and all this stuff. And one of the reasons it used to take so long to record videos is because, as you know, my place has terrible insulation, and I'm right next to traffic.
Yeah.
So with that cheap microphone that picked up literally anything, when traffic would go by, I would have to sit there and wait until traffic seemed quiet enough for me to start talking again.
Right.
So there would be these crazy long pauses in my editing process. And not even that, but I ended up getting to a point, especially with that Spawn video, that I would have to wait until 11, 12 o'clock at night just to start setting up.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't finish recording until like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it was just so exhausting.
Right.
And I'm pretty good with staying up late, or at least I was at the time. But the problem is when you're staying up late after being up for so long already and trying to keep the energy to keep talking and, being like clear with your words and stuff like that, and trying not to look like a zombie like on camera, it was really rough. And I don't know, I was testing like different camera angles, and again it got to a point where after a year in, I ended up doing the Venom video after my Roundup video, which I was really proud of. I really loved the Venom video, and it shows, and it ended up being my most viewed video yet.
Yeah.
I thought my channel was going to take off.
Right.
And I think I got a little cocky with it too, because I ended up just letting the views come in, but I didn't have anything to follow up with.
Yeah.
I ended up going a really long time without posting something else. And I think, I kind of regret that, because I should have had another video to put out within the next couple of weeks while those views were still coming in.
Right.
But as proud as I was with that video, it was also exhausting to do. And I don't know. It got to a point where I felt like I absolutely had to stick with trends and things that were cool and whatnot. But the thing is that's not what interests me. Even if it's something along the lines of things that I like to talk about, I'm just not someone who can keep up with trends, let alone have interest to talk about every trend.
Right.
That's one thing about like commentary and reactionary channels that talk about TikTok a lot, is because there's infinite amount of things to talk about when it comes to TikTok, but I could not give a flying fuck about TikTok or short form media. And that kind of showed too, because I started to, again, I got a little cocky and I started to pick things that were niche topics that I thought people would want to listen to. Like not right after, but after the Venom video was the Suicide Squad video that I did. And then it was The Crow, and then was the Suicide Squad ripoff, the Sinister Squad. Which again, like, they did okay, but not even a quarter of the amount of views that the Venom one did. And again, I also started getting so wrapped up on views.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not at a place where, let alone a following, where I should care about views. I should be caring more about what I want to make.
Yeah.
And while there is a ton of videos that I want to make, the problem is a lot of them I don't want to sit in a chair talking about one thing. One of the things that, all the YouTubers that made me want to do YouTube, including Scott Kramer, Curtis Connor, Drew Gooden, is, yeah, they do have content where they sit in a spot, which a couple of them, including Curtis Connor, have gotten really good at, depending on like what kind of video he's making. But the ones that interest me most, and is kind of proving my point now, is what I want to do going forward is I want to do more interactive stuff. And I mean, I'm sure there will be points where I can find videos where I can sit down and talk about something.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm currently in the video of doing a PC build video. And I didn't want to do the same kind of PC build. I've seen a lot of them lately as I've been doing research for PCs, where someone has like I'm building my first PC, which annoys me because that's literally what I'm doing.
Right.
But what is different, and I'm hoping will remain as different as I can make it, is a lot of them have their components already.
Yeah.
When they start the video, they're like, hey, I'm just sprucing up my thing and I need a new editing computer, and today I'm going to be building my first PC. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so quirky. I'm sorry. It's just, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, it's taking me forever to get these components. Like I'm not building like a budget PC. I'm building a 1440p, relatively nice PC with quality parts. And, because I have bills and I have, a day-to-day job and I have rent and groceries and I have to make sure I can survive.
Right.
I have to buy like one component every paycheck or so.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of components.
Yeah.
So, and even the graphics card I'm looking at's around $800. So I'm going to have to make sure that I have all bills paid, and then I can throw the rest of my money at this graphics card.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that a graphics card is more than my Xbox. It's insane.
Yeah.
My Xbox Series X is cheaper than this graphics card.
Right.
Anyways, but there again, it's not really going to be primarily a gaming computer, but whatever. It's going to be better than the laptop that I have now. But what I'm enjoying about it is that as different parts come in, I have like different experiences and I have different feelings about each card, and I can do like different skits and whatnot. And then obviously there's going to be the point when I do have all these pieces, and I'm going to do like glamour shots of them so that I have like nice photos of them or like videos to showcase at the end of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to build it.
Right.
Which that is the consistent trend, obviously, with these first time building videos, let alone any other PC build video, is the building process. But, like, I want to take the viewers on the same journey that I'm going through.
Yeah.
As I have to like grind and buy these parts, instead of just being like, oh, I have all these parts, and rather that I bought with money that I can spend aimlessly, or that, my dad is paying for. And it's like, no, I'm barely surviving paycheck to paycheck, and I'm still buying these expensive PC parts.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I can write them off as tax deductibles or whatever.
No, because that would mean that you would have a brand, which you don't have.
Yeah, and I don't know. So my point is I'm enjoying, not that I want to do PC content going forward. I might do one or two more. Maybe if there ever ends up being another build in the future, I'll do it,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just to compare and contrast like the journey as time goes on.
Right.
But I'm not like trying to lead into PC content.
Yeah.
It's purely just like, as someone who considers them like a geek or a nerdy person, that's something that I can kind of relate to people about, because it's not only a big thing and it's a big culture of like people who like to just put PC parts together, but it's almost like hopefully my way to join that culture.
Yeah.
Same thing with like miniature painting. I want to do a miniature painting video because I started miniature painting, and I want to do a similar thing where like I show like where I started, and I'm making sure that I don't ever like repaint miniatures or that I don't throw anything away because I want to show like where I started
Right.
and where I am now. I found a display model, so it's like the size of an action figure that I want to paint to be like this is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And same thing, show my process. That'll probably be the following video. But,
Gotcha.
so yeah, that's kind of where I want to go from now on.
So kind of touching upon a couple like key notes, like based on things that you said that I could definitely relate to. Starting off with is like, and it's something that I didn't notice, and it's really embarrassing, but, well, at least for me it is. So I have, for my mic that I've been using since the dawn of my YouTube channel,
The Yeti.
the Yeti. It's not a bad mic.
No.
It's a good mic, and it can be used for a lot of good things. And another reason why I got it was not only was it at a good price when I got it, but a lot of YouTubers use it, and they never seem to have an issue with it. There again, a lot of the editing that they do makes it a little nicer, and they don't have to worry about background noise and stuff like that. But
Well, that's the biggest thing that I've told you before is because the type of microphone that it is, you need a place that, has like, it's rather insulated properly, it's soundproofed or,
right.
yeah.
But again, when I first got the mic, I didn't really think about that, and there was a lot about when I first started the channel where I didn't really get too much advice from you, only because we were a little bit more separated at the time, and I was just trying to figure it out on my own. But there's been so many times when I'll be editing a video, and because I'm wearing headphones when I'm playing games and stuff, I don't hear certain things when I'm playing the game because all I hear is the hum of my own voice and the game. But I'll be editing a video and there'll be like kids screaming in the background, or not my kids, like other annoying kids who I had to deal with in the past. Or like dogs barking, or people arguing, or whatever it is. Or what got even worse is even when I thought that I figured that out, it was me that I could hear. I don't know what it is. Like, my nose has gotten so bad throughout these past few years, and it wheezes and whistles like there's no fucking tomorrow. And when I'm playing video games or when I'm recording, all I can fucking hear when I'm editing these videos is just like this whistle.
Yeah.
And then there's even times when I'm editing the video, and when I honestly, it got to a point to where before each video, I'd blow the shit out of my nose.
Yeah.
I would do whatever. I'd shove not toilet paper. I'd shove napkins up there, do my best to just get all of it out, hoping that works. And even for the slight chance that it did work,
yeah,
then it was things like I could hear myself swallow or something.
right.
And it's something that I'm really self-conscious about now whenever I'm editing. And it's gotten to the point where I've fondled with my mic so much. There's not one consistent video back to back of my mic, because I try editing the game before I play it so that the noise isn't too obnoxious, which I ran into in the past, and it's something I didn't consider until I played Kill It With Fire. Mm-hmm. That game is so loud.
Yeah.
Such a loud fucking game. But after that, I started editing the sound of the games, and I changed all the settings before I even played the game,
Right.
just so that when I'm editing it, there's some kind of balance. But with the mic, I'm constantly changing it because it sounds good in one video, but I hear something I don't want to. It sounds bad in another video or whatever. And
I wonder if there's a way to record on OBS, or if there's a different program that would not only keep it synced up, but put the audio on two different tracks.
well, see, that's the thing is what's nice about OBS is because I have my Yeti connected to it. But the only thing is like if I don't want to hear me, the only thing I can do is mute the mic,
Right.
which I've started to get more consistent with doing, but I don't always have that ability because I want to like listen to something about the game, but I don't want to hear me, and I
Yeah.
can't like edit them separately. And I haven't tried recording my voice and the game separately because I've heard that it's a bitch to sync up.
I don't know. I think I found it's like a very specific situation, but I tried explaining to you the way that I did the Signalis gameplay that I
Yeah.
did. What I did, so Windows, at least in my experience, it had the pre-downloaded Xbox software,
Right.
including Xbox like recording software. And what I did is I had my typical recording app open,
Mm-hmm.
already recording my stuff, and then I started screen recording. And if you have the hub open for the screen recorder instead of just pressing like the little quick key, there's like a little option for a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is I turned on the microphone on that. And so while both of those recordings were going at the same time, I would like say something before I like started. I'd go like red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather a couple times. And then I would turn that microphone off and just leave it to where it's like my recording app. So the screen recording was purely just whatever was happening on the screen in like the game.
Yeah.
And that recording app was recording my voice.
Right.
And so I synced those up later, and then it would just sync up to red leather, yellow leather, and I would literally just find the spots where my voice. It's a little tedious, but I'd find the spot where my voice was and cut out everything in between.
Right, but that brings me to another thing is I genuinely enjoy recording videos.
Yeah.
Especially so actually I'm going to touch upon two things that you mentioned. First off, I fucking hate editing.
Yeah,
I've encountered moments where I'll edit a video and the only way that I find moments where I enjoy editing is those moments where I do something in the like with the edit that I personally think is hilarious, and I'll catch myself at like 12 o'clock at night editing a video, and there's this one part that's just so stupid and funny that
yeah,
I'm laughing my ass laughing my ass off out loud to something that I probably am the only one who thinks is that funny.
right.
That's the only time I enjoy editing. And it's also like how long the videos are, because like I personally like I feel like there's only a select few games in this world, especially now, that you can play and record for a short period of time and have a decent video.
Right.
But the games that I play, I feel like they require to just do longer.
Yeah.
So if it was a shorter video, it's easier, like you can get it out of the way. But even short videos take forever to edit because like you're going back every now and then,
Yeah.
and you're like cropping stuff out or you're adding stuff in, and it's just a hassle. But another thing is when it comes to recording, even though I love recording, my number one issue is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never have it, ever.
Right.
I'm tired all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to not be this way. And so like when I first started recording consistently, I noticed that I was super monotone in my videos. And I would like make these like subtle jokes, but that's all they were just like subtle.
Right.
And despite how cringy it was, in the first Kill It With Fire video, I tried forcing energy out there.
Yeah.
But like I've never had the capability of like, I think it's where I record.
Okay.
Because like I've never had a space where I could like yell to the top of my lungs or express that kind of fun energy without disrupting someone or something.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, I was living with Chris.
Yeah.
And those walls were thin as shit. And that's why I whispered all the time in those videos.
Yeah.
And there's a vent that was right above my door that couldn't shut. So, again, they could hear me so easily. So, no. And then when I moved to Casey's for a short period of time and I was recording there, again, thin ass walls.
Right.
And there's so many times when I would stop recording. Or actually, there were times when I wanted to record but couldn't because I knew that you would hear people downstairs or moving around upstairs. The walls were thin.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kids outside were playing. Or like I would want to, but like I was surrounded. I never felt comfortable with what I was doing around other people.
Yeah.
Like I always felt judged, even though I wasn't, but I felt like I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I still stayed quiet. I never expressed energy or anything like that.
Right.
And even like where I'm at now, thin walls, thin floor.
Yeah.
I can't, like I live above people and I can't express that kind of energy that I want to. And it also comes down to like the energy that I don't have to begin with. Like, again, I'm tired all the time. I drink energy drinks in hopes to fix that, but it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, you're also just going to crash at a particular point.
Yeah, and a lot of people keep telling me that they think I have ADHD, which I don't know is true or not, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but there's also research saying that caffeine and melatonin affect people with ADHD differently than people without it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how true that is, and if I do have it, that explains a lot, but it's also me trying to like find those substances that could give me the right energy
Mm-hmm.
without resorting to drugs. But yeah, and honestly, and when it comes to because you also mentioned like the type of videos that you make, which by the way, me personally, I enjoy the videos you made in the past. And if you decide on changing your content, that's great. I personally, as it's a little selfish of me to say this, but I would say just every now and then throw in like an old-fashioned commentary style video.
That's what I was saying. Like I definitely will from time to time, but it has to just be something that I really want to talk about.
Right.
Because while I'm usually with at least what I think are the really good ones, while I'm satisfied with the results,
Yeah.
it's sitting in a spot for who knows how many hours
Right.
talking about something that's super scripted
Yeah.
and then editing it, which I hate. I just don't like editing.
Yeah. So, but to kind of relate to that at the same time is although I love making gaming videos,
Yeah.
I always wanted to have a variety channel.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to do more than just one thing. And even though I still talk about that till this day, I haven't done anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep making ideas and not pursuing them. But I tried. I have scripts for commentary style videos
Yeah.
or just videos of me talking. Hell, one of the videos that I recorded yesterday is not a gaming video. And it's probably not going to be a great video, but I'll still post it just because why the fuck not? But I was like, it was also around the time when you introduced me to Curtis Connor and Scott Kramer, and I really wanted to try out like
Right.
a commentary video and everything, but I didn't know what the fuck to talk about.
Yeah.
Not one fucking clue. And I had a couple, which I've noted now, and I think I could actually make videos off of. But at the time, I felt like they were dumb and random. But yet the video that I actually recorded 3 times
Mm-hmm.
was still random as shit. Like, it made sense to me. but it was still random.
I don't think the random thing is so much an issue. Like, sure, maybe it's not the most groundbreaking thing, but I think what's important is if it's something you want to talk about.
It was. But then here are the reasons why I stopped with it. Because one, I recorded a shit ton of videos and expected my computer to handle more, but it couldn't. So I had to start making sacrifices on what videos I actually wanted out there. And here are the reasons why I deleted that specific one, along with a couple others. One, how I looked in the video. I lost surprisingly a lot of weight since that video. Because I just recently rewatched, maybe 5 days ago, I rewatched my Silent Hill videos.
Okay.
I didn't realize how chunky I was in those videos. Don't get me wrong, I'm not skinny or shredded now.
Right.
But it's a difference. So that was one reason. The second reason was, I don't know what the fuck it is about people YouTubers and their capabilities with their Yeti mics. But when I plug my Yeti mic into a laptop, it doesn't work as well as it does in the PC. The quality is just not there.
Yeah. I mean, we even noticed that with these lav mics.
Yeah.
When we tried plugging it into our laptops, the recording
exactly
software just does not agree with them.
Right. So there was that. It didn't sound the way I wanted it to. I couldn't settle on a position because I was at a hotel at Travis Air Force Base, and I recorded the video 3 times in 3 different spots. And not once did I like the way I looked or anything. But the video itself was about kid cartoons. And it was kind of it was kind of aimed at people who were rather new parents or younger parents.
Yeah.
But because I spent a lot of time watching TV with kids. But there's a lot of times as an adult where you watch some of these kid shows and you hate your life because you're watching this really stupid show. But there were kid cartoons that rather one were in a baby range or a young kid range that I was surprisingly entertained by. Or cartoons that we grew up with that you could enjoy. You could genuinely sit down and just binge watch that cartoon.
Yeah.
And your kids could watch it too.
Right.
So I thought about making a video about here are the shows that you could show your kids and you could watch with them that you would genuinely enjoy. And I would also talk about shows that I wouldn't recommend, rather based on research of what those shows have had effect on kids, or shows that I've experienced had negative effects on my kids. So it was here are some good shows, here are some bad shows. And I was also trying to make the video itself entertaining aside from what I was talking about. So I was adding in a lot of clips and what have you. But with how much content I was and assets I was putting into one video, my computer couldn't handle it. So it was rather I sacrificed every other video that I recorded and just focused on this one, or sacrifice this one and focus on all those others. So that's what I did. And I mean, I'm glad I did, but I also wish that commentary videos were a little easier for me to do, as far as both doing and the motivation to do them.
Yeah.
Because I love doing gaming videos, but I want to do more. But something else that you mentioned that kind of like, it's a little petty, but I think about it all the time. There are a select few videos on my channel that made me think that I was going somewhere.
Yeah.
The first one was the Insomniac Spider-Man video that I did.
Yeah.
Around the time I was living with Chris. It got 4,000 views.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
I actually thought something was going to happen. But nope. Nothing did. I made another video after that. It was nothing like that video, but it went back to somewhere between 5 to I don't know. I could look it up now, but it was very, very low numbers, like what I usually get.
Yeah.
So, and then it also came to like, okay, well, maybe I'm not recording stuff that's relevant or that people are liking or that's trendy and stuff like that. So then when it came to time, I really wanted to record Spider-Man 2, the Insomniac game.
Right.
But because of life and everything, I wasn't able to record it on time. And then it got to the point where I was like, maybe I just won't be able to record it at all. Because I got the game late.
Yeah.
And the game was spoiled for me. And I was going through a really hard time at that point. And so I wasn't even sure if I really wanted to record it, if it was even worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But then the New Game Plus came out and it was getting a lot of attention again. So I wanted to stream it this time with better equipment and what have you, but with the New Game Plus. And I thought, my other Spider-Man video did really well. Yeah. Maybe this will like bring me back. Nope. 5 views, 17 views, 24 views at most.
Yeah.
That was it. But then later on, after video of these really like the videos that I put so much work into and got no fucking views. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I played Still Wakes the Deep. And there's, 4 videos? I think 3. Each one of those went over 100 views. And again, that's not a lot.
Right.
In, like, the world of YouTube. But for me, it was another, like, win. I was like, finally.
Like a step in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, again, right after that, everything else that I played, 4 views, 9 views, 13 views.
Right.
I fucking played Indiana Jones the day it came out, thinking that playing a new AAA game that's just released.
Right.
It was the first time I was able to record a game when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. 4 views, 9 views, 14 views.
Yeah.
It just kept kicking me in the ass over and over again. And then, hell, like, no matter what I tried doing, like changing the settings on YouTube, changing thumbnails or whatever it was, I released the whole Indiana Jones game. And, of course, out of all days, my phone doesn't want to work today. That's another thing. I'm having phone issues, which you know about, but we won't get into that. Damn. Oh. Indiana Jones 1, 16 views. 2, 8 views. 3, 10 views. 4, 14 views. 5, 43 views. 6, 9 views.
Yeah.
6.2, 4 views. And then the last video, 5 views. Indiana Jones. Not only a movie icon, but a new video game.
Yeah.
And that's another issue, is not only did I, and this isn't any offense to you, it's more of a personal problem, but like something that I think is common for a lot of YouTubers, especially starting YouTubers, is that one of their biggest issues is that they compare themselves too much to other YouTubers who are doing better.
Right.
That's something I had a problem doing with you.
Okay.
Because you have more subscribers than I do.
Yeah. Mainly because of the Venom video.
Each one of your videos from day one has more videos or more views than I do. I have more videos than you do, but each one of your videos have gone, I believe, above 100 views.
That's not true. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, including my last two that haven't passed the triple digit or gone into triple digits.
Oh. But either way, I still compared myself to you a lot. I still daydreamed about like, oh, maybe one day those 4,000 views or viewers from that one Spider-Man video will come back and watch my other videos.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll just get lucky and one of these videos that I work so hard on will just explode. Anything. And, you know, like, I mean, obviously we talk about how, like, life gets involved and personal stuff gets in the way. My mental health gets in the way a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're, 25 years old? And for, like, the past 3 years, I've been experiencing, like, an early demo of midlife crisis. So yeah, it just,
Yeah. I mean, damn, this episode, if anyone's still around, we obviously appreciate you. This episode has definitely gone very deep and a little personal, which I kind of expected. I knew it was going to lead in this direction, but I think I would just like to leave this note with anyone who is still listening or who has any interest in this topic is it's hard to, not only is it hard to stand out and it's hard to make a name for yourself in this modern age of content creation and the constant feed and the algorithm and the influx of people wanting to all hop in on this ability to make money and make a living and, you know, enjoy their lives and share their lives on social media and so on and so forth, that if you're still a small channel, if you're thinking about starting, the only thing I could tell you is it's going to be really tough for a lot of people. There are going to be some people that are lucky. There's going to be some people who get it right away. And it's just not like that for everyone. And it's really hard to come to terms with the fact that it's going to be that way for a really long time. There's some people who you probably watch on YouTube who it seems so easy and organic to them, but you probably don't realize how long they've been on YouTube to get to that point. And I'm willing to stake this out and do YouTube for the long run. But there are things that I want to do, and unfortunate, and they're not a part of YouTube. So I would love for YouTube to take off so that I could utilize the resources of YouTube and make it, you know, make a community to, you know, encourage creativity and nerdy stuff like this podcast and whatever it is. I I don't know if this is making a whole lot of sense, but it's just important to do you and don't get boggled up in like the analytics of it all. Just try to have fun with it. If you focus so much on making money, you're probably not going to make it too far. If you're focused on views, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. And if you're going to do YouTube, if you're going to do content creation, do what you want to do. Don't burn yourself out. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Like, just make sure you're having fun at the end of the day. And if you're not, rethink it. That's why I'm going to be shifting my videos. I want to do things that I want to do. I want to make videos about, hobbies, and I want to make videos about my PC builds. I want to do videos about video games more, about movies. I will do a lot of my same stuff, but I don't know. I just want to, again, it's not like I have a huge following and I have to like let a lot of people know this, but for anyone who cares or who happens to have been following along so far, I would be eternally grateful for you to go on that journey with me. And I'm sure Brandon could say the same.
Yeah. I mean, something that I would like to, it's advice that I've not heard too much from, or even at all, from other YouTubers who try to say like this is what you need, or try to find this or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I would give advice about when it comes to, even if it's not a YouTube channel, if it's just a hobby, or if it's like a passion you're trying to pursue for similar reasons as what we are trying to do for YouTube.
Yeah.
The right support system. Because, like, yeah, me and you do our best to encourage each other because we both know how important it is to us.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. Out of all the people who I know, I feel like it's a fraction who really show that they care. And that it's important to them, or that it's impacted them the way it's impacted me, or the way that I've wanted it to. And I'm not saying, well, I kind of am, but I'm not. I'm not saying that like you need people to like kiss your ass or anything. But there is like it's a little weird, but like that ego boost helps a little bit. Like just recently, for example, here's a couple moments that like helped. It made me feel nice about like that I was entertaining people.
Yeah.
First off, some of the comments that I've had in the past about people saying that they liked my stuff, and I don't get a lot of comments at all. And so when I do, it's nice to see them. But I had one friend who showed me a picture of him watching my channel and how he like binge watched the whole Indiana Jones series.
Yeah.
And that I don't know, that just hit me the right way. And then I got a message from my friend Chase. Shout out to Chase. He told me that one of my videos, because I gave him a quick snippet of an edit that I made for a video, and he told me that there have been times when my video gave off like Jacksepticeye vibes, and that made my little like YouTube heart happy. But it's just like moments like that where people show that they enjoy your stuff, and that like you're right, like people do like what you're making. It's a nice little boost. And even just people just giving you that confidence and telling you that they care about it as much as you do is just nice. And there are some people in my life, and I'm not going to say them, but there's like certain people who come to mind who I kind of wish showed me that kind of support. But it's the small things that help.
Yeah.
because it's more of like it's also part of it's all part of the game. Like there's the technical stuff, there's the physical stuff, there's the mental stuff, there's the emotional.
So what you're saying is it's just a good idea to, if you're thinking about going into content creation, whether it's YouTube or elsewhere, that you potentially surround yourself with people who are supportive, equally motivated, or potentially even doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Because having that little bit of community or knowing that that maybe you're not alone in it might help.
Like I'm not gonna say who it is, but we know someone who's debated on starting a channel, and I keep encouraging it because despite if it's YouTube or if it leads to something else, it's a passion of theirs. It's something they want to pursue, and who knows, maybe they'll boom off, maybe they'll be successful. And if they do, and if that happens, that's great. And I want them to feel encouraged. I want them to feel that like support,
Right.
that they can do it if they want to. Because we all should. I know we all have passions. We all have things we care about, and we should all be told like, hey, try it. Why not? Like, it might be difficult at first. It's not supposed to be. Well, like it would be nice if it was easy in the beginning, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
But if you care about it enough, and if you love it enough, and if you have that drive, then who cares? Just do it.
I think it might be a good idea. With that being said, because I feel like something that I think about a lot, or at least something that I was thinking about a lot in the beginning, is like, oh, I'm a part of YouTube now. You know, I'm a part of I'm a part of the YouTuber community.
Right.
Which isn't necessarily true. But so essentially I immediately had kind of like this parasocial thought that like I was a part of it now. You know,
Yeah.
I was it. And I tried to make like a skit, or like I made a stupid little short that I've taken down since, of me reaching out to Scott Kramer being like, I want to be a part of the Kramer games, or, you know, like I thought it would just be so easy and it would be seen or whatever. It's like, no, that's stupid. But what I'm getting at is I think even though we're just as small as any other new channel that's out there, what's stopping us from trying to reach out to other small channels and building something off of it?
Well, you kind of know this, but in a way I've been trying to do that myself.
Yeah, but I mean maybe doing a little bit more active searching.
Well, yeah, but like I have made jokes, especially on my my wrap up video. I made jokes about reaching out to bigger YouTubers, which I did. It's a little embarrassing, but I did. I reached out to them.
Right.
No success, but I reached out to them. But I do know some smaller creators or people who are at the same range as we are.
Yeah.
And one of them, I won't say who they are, but one of them did it years ago and loved it, but because of life had to like take a break.
Right.
And he mentioned that he loves recording, but he hates editing.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why he took a break. And then the other one, I see him post so much, and he's doing his best.
Yeah.
And I try, like, I could show a little more support, but like in my own way, I'm rooting for him. I'm wanting him to like, for one of these days, for it to just boom for him.
Yeah.
And I keep talking about how I want to like do these like interview videos or something. And one of them has stated that he wants to. The other one doesn't think it's relevant, but I still want him to. But I want to kind of have like a chat with them the way I did with you in the beginning of my channel, which such a bad video.
Oh.
I think like the conversation was fun, but the quality was terrible. and I was fat. And
fun little fact to, break the illusion, but we actually shot that like 2 or 3 times.
we did, yeah. Because like we shot it the first time, not thinking that we had any issues, and we did.
Yeah.
And then the second time we ate like a shit ton of pizza, so we were crashing.
But anyway, but I don't see any problem with potentially, like, if you end up doing those interviews, doing them here on the podcast.
Yeah. I would say it's also kind of like how we're doing the podcast as of right now, because
Well, I know, but
I wanted to show these people's faces.
Well, I know, but that's what I was saying. Like, I think after this first season of the podcast, we'll probably go visual. After the first season, so going from then on, hoping that we've got somewhat of an audience, it'd be cool to consider that going forward.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a part of me kind of... I mean, it's something to, like, we could talk about it, or we could have, like, people who do listen to this decide whether or not they want it on my channel or not. It's also timing. Like, I have a little bit more freedom to do it sooner.
Yeah.
If able to on my channel. There again, that could also be said for all the other videos that I wanted to make that aren't gaming videos, but here we are. But yeah, it's been something. It's been a pain in the ass.
That it has.
Like a major fucking pain in the ass.
But, Brandon, I think that's a good place to maybe start wrapping this up.
Yeah. I'm sure we have plenty of things to say, but people don't want to...
I'm sure that's the case, but I'd say what I would like to leave final notes of is, first off, I apologize if anyone was bummed out from us being a little bit more chill and personal today, but that's kind of just... I wanted us to discuss our journey and kind of like the reality of what it is to be a small creator on YouTube, a really small creator on YouTube,
Right.
let alone social media. And for anyone who's listened to this far, we appreciate you, and we hope that you'll be here for our next episode and going forward, which will definitely be more fun than this one. And we've said it before on our channels, but we have a lot of big ideas and big plans, and we would love to be able to do them with your support, because you cheering us on and doing all of that free stuff like liking, potentially subscribing, leaving a comment just to tell us how shitty we did. Whatever it is, telling another fellow nerd that there's 2 guys talking about stupid random stuff. It all helps, and we would, we'd greatly appreciate it. So, Brandon, do you have any final thoughts or words to send us off?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've said, if you have a dream, I want you to pursue it.
Do it.
Whoever you are who's listening to this,
do it.
Life doesn't have to be what we're all convinced it was. Like, it's supposed to be this like A to B kind of thing. It's supposed, like, you're supposed to live it. And I don't want you to be in your last moments wishing you tried. Just try. So if it says something as small as books, then book the shit out of that book. If it's YouTube.
Yep.
The only career I'll say not to do
It could
is
be books on YouTube.
just no OnlyFans.
Just YouTube. Yeah. Be positive. Keep your chin up. And to all my fellow nerds, keep it cool, dude.
To all the 4-legged, 2-legged, and 6-legged Terrys out there,
That was odd.
keep it chill.
Keep it chill. It's 2-legged, 4-legged, and 6-legged.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
mixed
I
it
know
up
you're
a
out
little bit and then threw in Terry because
Yeah.
Terry's in my...
Basement dungeon. Was I not supposed to say that?
Well, I mean, he needs a place where he can edit my videos.
Oh, right.
So,
He has a computer down there?
yeah.
I thought he like resurfaced once a month. And you just had him do it there.
No, he does in the basement.
Oh.
He doesn't deserve sunlight.
Wonder if that chain's still around his neck.
It's around something.
Whoa. That just got real dirty. Anyways, well, everyone, that's enough rambling for today. Brandon, good night.
Good night.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Peace.